for this panel. This is not the first time that I've attempted to bring sexy back to education, but it's the first time that I've tapped into women. And I think in honor of Women's Month, why not let women lead, okay? And we have some rock stars on our panel today. First up, we have the one and only Miss Losha Brooks.
How are you all? Losha Brooks. Shout out to the people in the back. Losha Brooks with First Class Educator. I am super excited to be with you all today. First Class Educator, we are an educational consulting firm, and so I'm very thankful that Dr. Johnson asked me to sit on this panel today.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya Butin. I am the Director of Partnerships at 𝐼𝐸 Reading. We're a one-to-one virtual tutoring program that embeds directly into the school day. Prior to joining 𝐼𝐸, I was a longtime teacher, assistant principal, and director of literacy for a large school district. So my heart is really in schools and with teachers, and I love to talk about bringing teachers back into the classroom. So I'm really excited to be here today with all of you.
My name is Ericka Johnson-Allen. I'm the middle school RLA coordinator for Garland ISD. I'm also the CEO and lead consultant for Endowed Ascension LLC. I am all about making sure that teachers have what they need to be successful in the classroom. Therein, students are successful in the classroom. So I'm glad to be here. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dr. DeAndrea Fleming. I am trustee of the DeSoto ISD, where it's a great day to be an Eagle and tomorrow will be even better. Had the opportunity to serve on the board for the past 6 years, led my district from an F-rated district to a B-rated district in the midst of COVID. In 2 years, getting focused on improving student outcomes. And so I'm a student outcomes focused person. I started with policy. I've been an educator for over 23 years, started out in the classroom, math teacher, middle school, moved to instructional coach, assistant principal, director, and served as executive director of secondary education. But God had a sense of humor, and he said, leave your paid job for a free job, and that's where I've been serving. And so I'm now the CEO of my own company, Market Resilience, where I help school districts all across the nation improve student outcomes.
All right. And then finally, I will be your moderator today, Dr. Ericka Johnson. It was so funny, I had to pause for a moment because my very first year teaching, I've been in the game 24 years now, and my very first year teaching, I taught in the hood. Y'all know something. I forget, I'm in Texas right now, so y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I taught next door to Fair Park, right? At Daniel Chappie James. It's the all-girls school now. It was Daniel Chappie James when we started, and it was rated one of the worst schools in Dallas Independent School District during that time. And we did great work there. And Janelle, yeah, I'm picking on you. So I want you to wave your hand. We used to teach across from each other. Yes. So we go way back. So thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. I remember when I went to my classroom and my principal said, baby, that's your house. You run it. That was sexy to me. I remember when teachers would help each other and motivate and encourage one another. I remember when you had a mentor sheet that was distributed, but that old head came to your room and said, baby, let me tell you something. Stop taking all that stuff home. It ain't gonna do nothing but sit in your trunk. Why are you doing that? That was sexy to me. I remember when education was sexy. When you had the autonomy to do what you needed to do for the children that you served. Because what works here may not work there. That was sexy to me. So with that, I want to give you some facts. There are 4 main reasons why teachers teach. The passion, they want to make a difference, influence and mentorship, and cultural and social impact. That's why they come. Then why do they leave? Inadequate preparation. We don't prepare them. And they have the hardest job in the whole wide world. And they don't have the skills to get the job done. Lack of support for new teachers. Come on, old heads. You gotta grab somebody. Take them by the arm and help them, because they don't know. Challenging work conditions. You remember when that baby showed out in the class, you didn't have to worry about them showing out anymore? That was 6. And then finally, compensation. Figure out how to use your budget to take care of your teachers. Stop being scared, stop being a punk, get some courage, and do what it takes to take care of your teachers, because that's sexy. Anybody know why teachers used to leave? Because of their principals. That ain't the reason anymore. Number one reason why teachers are leaving the field is what? I need that money. Okay? They leave because of what we are paying them. 66% of teachers consider leaving. That was in 2022. During COVID, teachers in the U.S. were 40% more likely to experience anxiety in comparison, check this out, y'all, with healthcare workers. Wow. These are the people that was in COVID. And we were more stressed out. 20% more likely than office workers, and 30% more likely than workers in other professions like foremen and the military. That ain't sexy. These are the facts. This was the attrition rate. 11, 12, 10%. It stayed stable. And then look at what happened in 21, 22. 13.4%. Teachers are getting up out of here. And I'm sure that you know somebody that's getting, I'm sure it's somebody in this room. Did you know that almost 30% of teachers were found to be chronically absent? She laughed. Now I'm gonna pick on her. Why you laugh? Why?
I take my days.
Why?
Not chronically, I take my days.
Why?
Because they're my days.
Because they give them to you.
Yeah. Okay.
3/4 of educators had to take up additional work due to staff shortages. I remember my principal made us stop picking up our co-teachers' kids from the cafeteria after lunch. Y'all remember that? Because they would be out doing something else. And she was like, nope, everybody got to pick up their own kids and I'm going to meet them when they get there. Over 80% of schools report that student behavior has worsened significantly in recent years. Yeah. There have been over 400 school shooting incidents in the last 2 years. Teachers in K-12 grades are the #1 most burnt out profession in the U.S. #1. 37% of senior leaders, I'm talking about the bosses, experience signs of burnout, the highest among all categories in education staff. I thought that was important because your teachers are tired, but y'all, let me tell you about these principals and administrators. Worn out. Remember, just because you certified don't mean they teaching. 7,500 Texas teachers retire annually. In 2021, the number jumped to 8,600. They're retiring and they're quitting. 40% of U.S. schools do not have a teacher of color. 40%. That's a whole bunch. You can't even wrap your head around that. All right, ladies. I want to know, question number 1. What does it mean to you to bring sexy back to education? And I want to hear from all 4.
To be sexy is to be desired, okay? There's nothing right now in education for an educator that is desirable. And there was a time in history where being an educator was the prime life goal, especially in the Black community. It was a sought after profession. There were teacher colleges. When you were a teacher, you were revered in the community. That has changed. And you go, well, what happened? It wasn't magic, it wasn't a spell. What happened, in my opinion and according to facts, is there was established distrust, okay? Dis meaning real evidence, not miss. Miss means that it doesn't apply, there's no evidence. But there's evidence of no trust there. At first it was your community was run by your community. Your teachers were your aunties, your uncles, your somebody, your sister so-and-so, or your brother so-and-so at church. And then that changed whenever Dr. King said his own words, I believe we sent our kids into a burning building, okay? Because as we were trying to desegregate things, they started with the children, and that should not have happened. In his own words, in their own words. The children, unfortunately, you still have Rudy Bridges walking into being escorted by the military into a school. You know how kind of trauma? Fortunately, she's overcome it, but that's traumatic. And my own mother was a part of busing and all the desegregation and stuff, where she suffered, where the distrust begins to come from, abuse. Where she was at a school where she was taught by her black teachers, and they were on calculus and solving the world's problems and figuring it out while picking cotton at the same time. But then they had to go to the white school to integrate it, and they told the kids, sit in the back, turn your desk towards the wall, and they refused to teach them. Okay? So either you bounce back from that as a person, which a lot of them, about 60% of that population, they overcame no matter what. But the 40% that did not began to have distrust. And those people who had distrust, guess what they did? They dropped out of school. And those kids had kids, and they taught those kids, you cannot trust the people at the school. And unfortunately, not trusting the people at the school also includes us. So to bring sexy back, in my opinion, we're gonna have to take away that distrust and start reestablishing the trust so we can entrust, so they can entrust their kids with us without questioning. That's why the behavior is the way it is. And that's why the teacher disconnection and what's wrong with the parents? They don't trust you. It's generational curses and abuse that's coming from, unfortunately, public education. So we have to take the demonization away from it by making sure that we, at the very least, start by reestablishing the foundation so they can entrust their kids with us again without that distrust.
She said that was all part of the plan. And now this is where we sit. And we have to stop allowing the narrative that teachers and education in the schoolhouse is a negative, demonic thing. This is about trusting and building relationships. Thank you for that.
Raise your hand if you challenge yourself to come to this session because of the title of the session. If you challenge yourself to come to this session to bring sexy back to education. I see one hand. I like the vulnerability. I see one hand, okay? The reason why I'm saying that is because I think when we think about bringing sexy back, your mind wonders, what does that mean? And so now we have to explain. To me, it's make it attractive. I recall having teachers in elementary school, Dr. Robinson to be exact. We wanted to be Dr. Robinson. It wasn't because she was so super jazzy, but you knew that she actually cared. So it was like having a second mom, but you also learning. And so I was a product of being bused to where the distrust started with now we're looking at the schools in our community as not being a safe place for our children, to the extent that some of us still have that idea that we need to send our students to an affluent school district to where they don't have teachers that look like them. We already don't have teachers that look like them, but to bring sexy back, I don't want to go off topic, to bring sexy back is just to make it more attractive for our community and for our babies to know that this is a profession that you can be successful in and not poor. Because it's almost like being an educator is synonymous with also being poor. Right. So letting them know you don't just have to be a poor educator. There are also things that you can do in parallel to being an educator. So to me, bringing sexy back to education is just to make it more attractive. And that's just the way that we structure our approach to positioning it to our community and our babies.
So what you say was, we got to make this thing attractive. And to teach don't mean you got to be broke.
Facts.
You can still live a great life and be a teacher.
Yes, you can.
I think when I think about bringing sexy back to education, I think how Ericka framed it around, like, there's something about feeling sexy or feeling proud of the job that you have and coming to work every day and feeling like you have all the tools you need and that you're empowered. And so that's one piece of it. And to what you both mentioned around the external piece of how others view you. So I feel like, especially coming out of COVID, when you tell somebody you're a teacher, they're like, I am so sorry. They're like, I feel so bad for you. They're not like, wow, I'm so impressed with you, or I respect you so much, or I'm blown away, or I like want to learn from you. They're like, wow, I feel bad. Like, it's almost like this like sense of pity. And like, who wants to come to a profession where people pity you?
Yes.
And everyone in this room is in this room because you understand and you've been in a classroom where there's the magic of teaching kids. Like, it should be the most respected profession, and it just isn't right now. And I think I was trying to like think about my family. My mom's side is from Venezuela, and I feel like my mom, when she came to the U.S., education for her, like anything that happened at school was gospel. It was like education was gospel to her, and there's something about the distrust not only in communities and amongst teachers and amongst staff, but just like as a society, it's almost like we've all given up on our education system. Like, we all know it's bad, we all know there's problems, and rather than trying to like wrap our arms around and embrace it, I feel like everybody, especially in the younger generations, when I think about like kids in undergrad or even like in high school, or you know, who are new to the profession, are like running as far away as they can from it. Like, this is not their problem that they think that they want to solve. And so figuring out how to bring everybody in, I think, is so important.
Why wouldn't you want to have such a strong impact on the world? We gotta change the narrative. Because I know I'm guilty, I know y'all guilty too. Right? But we do it and good at it. Change the narrative.
If I look in a mirror and I don't feel sexy, whose fault is that? Bring sexy back to education. How can I bring something back that I don't embody myself?
Whoa. Ouch.
So what value am I putting on education when I don't embody that myself, but I want everybody else to be the benefactors of something I don't exude myself? So when you say bring sexy back to education, I ask, what is the value that we place on education, for one, and are we the promoters of education? And so in the moments that I'm not showing up in my best self to say I am a teacher, which we come here and we say we are teachers, people at home know we are teachers, but they know you're that teacher. They don't know I'm the teacher. And so in the moments that I'm not the teacher, the moment I look in the mirror and I say, oh, I'm a teacher because today politics said this, today my principal said this, today that parent said that, today the kid said this, then in the moments of me trying to bring sexy back, I don't feel sexy because all my external factors tell me I'm not. And everything in my head says it's okay to blame everything else but the sexy in the mirror. Because sexiness is who you are. If I saw a car and I said I want to the men in the room, so because I was going to go to the shirt, to the dresses, but I'm going to talk to the men in the room and to the women who love those cars, right? When the cars came out and you see the car, you walk around and you just say, it's something about it. You take better care of the car. You make sure that it's clean on the inside and clean on the outside. When we get those new pair of shoes and our new purses, we put them up. We put them on and we make sure they go back in the boxes. We just don't throw them on the floor. And all I keep asking is, if you want to bring sexy back to education, why don't we do the same thing in the spaces in what we advocate for? So we can complain about a lot of things, but if we're not showing up to show them how sexy we are, you can't bring something back because they don't know the value of who you are because you have not expressed that. So to bring sexy back to education, who is the value in the people in the room, of the collaborative, the collective, of those who are certified, those who are in the field, and those who will say, I don't make the changes and the choices, you don't. But you make the changes and the choices and the places and how you show up every day. You make the choices and how you respond every day. So every day if I walk in the room and I say, I'm sexy, let's bring it back, then my kids will start saying, we are sexy. Too. Because there has to be some type of overflow in that. And so
Sexy starts with you. You gotta believe it. You need to be it. You need to say it. You need to stand on the mountain and scream it. I am sexy. This profession is sexy. Don't you wanna be? Thank you. That's why she wants to go last. I get it. Hey. New generations are not coming to education. So the question is, what can we do as school leaders, as district leaders today to entice future educators?
I think one of the missing components, a lot of districts are missing, and just us in general. First of all, we got to watch how we talk about teachers.
Hello.
Okay. We mentioned, are you selling your kid to be a teacher? I think we have to bring back the way we speak about it in high regard. What is the military without the infantry? What are we without the soldiers? And I think, unfortunately, the pyramid is, superintendent, teachers, when it should be the other way around. Because we have a shortage and we all feel it. Okay? We have a shortage of people coming in, like you said, and when they come in, they're just as green as all outdoors. And they'll come in with a certificate or come in with the test or I'm going to take my test, and there's nothing inside. They don't have the pedagogical practices down. Hence the Teacher Readiness Institute by Endowed Ascension, ready to give it to you. But they don't have that. They have the need, they want it, got the heart. I say, thank you for coming, you have the heart. You have a great heart to come. And when the bell rings, it's on you. Are they ready? So what can we do? I think we're missing an opportunity as districts, especially all of us in districts with surrounding, lots of districts, and surrounding universities and colleges. Why aren't we cultivating the people ourselves? Why aren't we going in where there is an education degree or some type of certification like that? Why aren't we grabbing them while they're there, pulling them in, giving them the time in class, and cultivating them to be the teachers and the educators you want them to be? Why aren't we doing that as a whole? Why is it innovative when the district does it? Why isn't it just across the board? I'm a little frustrated by it because I feel like it's long overdue, and if we have commerce and university and so-and-so college and all of this right next door, and the people already show, hey, I'm going to major in education. Why aren't we plucking them right there? First year, second year, ready to go. Pluck them right there, put them in a position with a teacher, assistant, or as a student teacher, and give them an opportunity, and then they have a contract with you. They have a set, okay, I'm gonna stay here, this is my home, this is my family, making it sexy, making it desirable to be there. And then they know you cultivated the teacher that you want. You've poured into them those strategies and expectations that you expect for them to execute. Whereas coming in and somebody's resume look nice and you don't know where they came from, what they've been doing, why they got fired or asked to retire, all those things have to be taken into consideration. So what can we do to make it appealing? Money, I think we can't control that. But I think we can control where they come from. I think we can control how we cultivate them. I think we can control the type of relationship we begin to build earlier with them.
We're starting too late.
Agreed. Yes.
We need to jump in and pluck them. Those were your words.
Yes,
pluck
ma'am.
them. Pluck them.
I moved up quickly, and I don't know if I went into the profession thinking that I would be a teacher forever. And I wish that had been presented to me and that there was a clear pathway for growth and credentialing and pay and all those pieces that would allow me to say, this is something that I want to do forever. I want to be the best teacher in the building, and I want to be in this building for 10 plus years. And I don't know if it's framed that way, especially in to become a better teacher is to stop being a teacher, right? Once you become the best teacher in the building, they're going to make you something else, and then those teachers are left, and the newer teachers don't have a role model in the space. So
it's in our thinking from who we're trying to get. If the people who we're trying to get seeing you be who you are, why would I ever want to be anything of who you are? If I'm going home and my parents didn't believe in the system and then I got to witness the system myself, then why would I want to come back? And if I can't teach even in, I still have an option just to not do anything. We've given people options just to not do anything and not be responsive. So I think in my district's response to that has been, where are the teacher pathways? and why don't we have that pathway in there? There is a curriculum there, but then, you know, it's like, why hasn't the state just mandated one of those just to be the pathway and having that in CCMR in some capacity? Because again, we're disconnected from a source, and I'm gonna say this, and to those who know me, again, those people down there in Austin have created their social construct. You have a passion. Your passion may not align with their social construct, so you're conflicted with what they're doing, and you're frustrated. But I can continue to say, stop being frustrated when you have the power. And so things that you have the power and things you have the ability to change, you change. And so how do you create the pathway at the middle school, high school level, then give them scholarships, let them go off, and then come back and work in your systems? Again, it is just, and who knows if it works, but here's the thing, we don't know if anything's working, so you must try something.
You have a question in the back. You'd be surprised the lack of support that you get from your own district. We have 5 high schools in our district. Only 3 of our high schools carry the program, 2 of which the program was kind of killed. 1 high school, there's no interest in bringing it back based on their demographic and what they want to cater to. So it goes back to, what are we saying to our kids to motivate them? Because there are programs in our district that exist. A lot of us don't even know that these programs are there. But most districts do have this program. Are we cultivating and are we encouraging our students to actually explore? Because they get real life opportunities. They go student teach. They really have the opportunity to determine if this is something that they want to pursue. So look around in your district and really support those programs so we can build that pipeline. And we have developed the Grow Your Own, where they can come back and teach for our district. So.
Collaborating with other colleagues and figuring out a plan, and start now. Start now. Start in middle school. Brilliant. Why not? At that age, kids start to know what they want to be.
I feel like I'm bringing the sexy into it. So it's like, you know, I build relationships. I've had success. I've engaged with the community. So that's sexy to me. And it's like, you say, sending the children into a burning building. Well, we're making sacrifices. So are you gonna sit in on the outside, or are you gonna go in there and save them? Because a lot of times that's what we're doing. And if you get into this profession, that's what you take on. So it's like, when did you lose your sexy? That's the question for me. I haven't lost my sexy. So, and then I'm saying, you know, like, I don't give a damn what nobody said about me, because I'm gonna do what I can for those kids and in front of me and stuff. And then it's like talking about getting teachers into the profession, and you was like, we need to watch how we talk about teachers, or do we need to watch and correct how teachers engage with students?
I think it's both.
Because experiences in schools deter people from going into education.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. We have to watch all of that. It's different levels to the answers, it's different levels to the question. That's why all the answers are the answer. It's like all these components matter. And the part about the burning building was something that Dr. King, there's a quote from him, because he was like, man, I wanted this desegregation. That's what we need as a country. But he said, I feel like we sent our kids into a burning building because the country wasn't ready for that. And you know, it's 2024. We're still talking about critical race theory.
But I that morning knowing
you're going to do that. But you have
systematic system that wasn't set up for us.
You have something that we want to duplicate. You have something that we want to duplicate. And if we say that there's problems in education, and we know that there are, we got all these components that have these things that we've spoken to. If we could duplicate you and your confidence and your intentionality, and it was 100% of the teachers and 100% of the people who support you, wouldn't have a problem. But the issue is we don't have that. So we're talking systematically. How do we speak to bringing it sexy back? You say, where did it go? For some reason. And that one of the biggest things was how it all happened throughout history, how it happened through in education, how the distrust was established. And it's on us. Unfortunately, we got to do this magical Negro thing sometimes. And we have to come through and fix the foundation. It was never designed for us.
That's correct.
It was never designed for us. So since it was never designed for us, we coming in, it's like, well, this, that, and the other. And we know how great we are and how great a black male teacher is. Almost magical when they have such intentionality and such purpose
attached to what they do every day. And all of us have this, we come together, we just iron sharpens iron, we come in and do all this great stuff. And then we go out and the bell rings and we're underneath someone's vision, all this other stuff trying to execute. And we're doing well, we're doing okay. I feel like we're all saying, the stuff that we can control, let's control it. The stuff that we can change, let's change it. Because it can't continue to be what it is.
Thank you for that. What is sexy in education, specifically for Black males, who the educational system and systemic structures have actually raped? That's the word. That's the word, raped. So I'll allow that to marinate. I know we can't address that. That's a heavy lift right there. But I want to give you an opportunity to give some final words. I know I am out of time, probably in a minute now. 1 to 3 words, no more. Quick, simple phrase on where you are, what you're feeling at this moment in time, the message you want to give to the audience.
Passion, purpose, faithfulness.
Sustainability and compensation.
What do y'all do to be sexy?
Sexy.
Thank you.
And I want to say, let's just get it done.
I'm gonna get it over. I'm right outside the lines. Forgive me. Don't. Sexy is in your overflow. When you know who you are, you serve from your overflow. Take care of yourself so that you continue looking in the mirror every day and know that sexy is there. You show up, you run into the burning buildings. We'll continue to do what we have to do because it's necessary to do that for them. So I leave you with that because at the end of the day, the answers will never be solved, but as long as you continue to show up in your whole self, even when it doesn't feel good, then guess what? You are the sexy that's coming back. But there are things that have to change. And so in the collective is what we're here for. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking from my TAPSY hat. That's why we're here. And so as TAPSY continues to grow, these things will change because the conversations have to be that conversation that question that she just stated. If we're not talking about that, we're not changing anything across the board. And so
Thank you. I appreciate that. Something different. We got to do something different. And I just want to recognize, reduce the cost to teach. It costs too much to teach. It costs way too much to be a teacher. Work on that. Improve working conditions for sure in our teacher prep programs. We're always asking people why they leave. We need to start asking people why they stay. When we have stare interviews, it's a game changer. If you want to learn more about stare interviews, I would love to have a conversation with you after this, later on. All right, and I want to leave you with a world without teachers. It is only 1 minute. Thank you for helping us.